Shop update has taken way longer than expected, but check out what happened. You can see all the way from the milling machine all the way to the door. There's a forklift aisle because what we're going to do is take the table off the bandsaw. Considered briefly trying to get it off with chain hoist. There's not a whole lot of room, even though there are some nice holes that could potentially be used for eye bolts. So that's pretty close. Got a pallet jack under it, so that easily you can move it into the aisle, pull the table off, back up, move it off to the side, and then over to the milling machine. Got that sorted out. Got the Caterpillar 216B skid steer hub all cleaned up with the power washer today. Cleaned up the axle because it was a little oily. Now we're just taking the rust off of the axle. So I've learned in these projects, remove the rust, power wash, do a very good visual inspection, see where the damage is, but also measure all the insides of bores, the bores, and also where any bearings press on to a shaft, to an axle. Got a surprise a couple years back with a pump housing where everything looked good, but a bearing had somehow had a little bit of play, and everything was smooth, nothing was chewed up, but it was just 10 thousandths of an inch too big, and doing some measuring would have prevented having to send the housing out at the last minute to get it bored, instead of as we started to assemble realizing the diameter was off. So even either measuring or trying with the new bearing part, whatever the cup is, if it's easy enough, if it's clean, it's easy to try the new parts just as a second step. So measuring is one step, trying a part is a whole other step. Just covering all the bases. So that's the major update. So yeah, we'll just walk through the shop quick just because it's fun to see how everything's moved off to the side. It took some thinking of as far as how to get everything moved and nested in. It's always like one of those Tetris games here, as far as not having a lot of vertical storage with pallet racks, which would be a dream, but it'll happen all in its own time. Just coming up with, working on that business plan still, slowly, didn't do a whole lot, but I've been doing the meditative process as far as how to reach out to more people, how to do more cold calls as far as connecting with people who are strangers and saying, hey, can I ask your advice on something? And there's a saying in business, those who are successful people do the things unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. Now, and not to take that as a, but just to realize where our edge is, not to say that anyone is unsuccessful, but to want to turn that corner and say, you know what, I'm going to take control of my life, I'm going to take charge, I'm going to use the resources I have. I've done a lot of things related to personal growth that have worked out in a really great way. I've changed how I look at a lot of different things. That wasn't an easy process. So now I'm realizing I got to turn the corner on a few other things because I'm at that point where I can. And it's held me back as far as not asking some people for the help that they might be absolutely looking to provide to someone. Just like I love helping people out. And there's that saying as far as we want to help out those people who want to help themselves. So if we show we've put in 80% of the effort, other people will meet us where we're at and help us that last little bit. So anyhow, hopefully those are words of inspiration and wisdom. And until tomorrow, who knows when the shop update will happen then. Hopefully something happens tonight that's worthy of an update first thing in the morning. Till then, thanks again.